Welcome to Generation Dan. This is Generation Dan Gives Advice. I am Dino the Genetic Marvel. I am joined with Caleb McDuff and Atlas Novak. We are doing a little bit of extra content just to kind of see if this is a thing that people might enjoy. So what we've done is we've taken questions that have been submitted on Reddit for relationship advice, and we are going to read them and get opinions. Okay. So this one, do you guys want me to put it up on the screen, or do you want me to just read it out to you?
Put it up on the screen just for the person watching. Yeah.
So male 55, I always seem to forgotten about. No one ever calls, texts, or checks up on me. I do it, but we always have a brief chat. They say it's great to hear from me, then nothing until I do it again. They don't do it to their other friends, so why am I so unimportant? What is it about me that leads to this? Has anyone on here managed to change themselves to encourage others to make time for you? I can't live like this anymore. I feel so alone. Now,
this is way more
this
sad
is
than
so
the guy
sad.
shitting himself. This is way sadder.
Okay.
Sorry.
Now, so your faces tell me that I've made a mistake. But
I thought it was gonna be like we tried anal on my girlfriend's couch and then I got everywhere. What do I do?
I do have some of those. But
please
this
tell me
one,
that's your voice for like every fake person in your
I
life.
don't know
You're
what
just
to
like,
do about that. We're trying anal on her couch and then it goes so messy.
it's like half Keely Herman, half Kermit the Frog. It's amazing.
The poop is everywhere. So this, I quoted it as, "Am I lonely or am I alone?" Okay. And so I know it's a little bit aggressive, maybe in the guy's perspective, but do you ever find this? So, like, I have friends that I've known since grade 6, which is when I was 11 years old. Okay.
And you are as old as time itself. So
also true.
Yeah.
We only had up to grade 6. Then education stopped. Right there.
I just wanted to put it in perspective. Anyway.
Yes. My abacus only had one line. That's all the numbers that existed.
Yeah.
So now this is the whole thing, is that there are two. So one friend I have since grade 6, who's still my best friend. We talk regularly. And I have another who, if I reach out, we'll talk. He has reached out to me specifically when he wanted certain information. But like, I invited to my wedding. He was like, yeah, I'll be there. Didn't come. Then like, I've invited him other places, doesn't come. So he has cut off thing, but at the same time, if I called him, I believe he would pick up my call. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you ever find that there are certain groups of friends that don't it's a different perspective as to what a real friend is versus someone you know, right? And I was just thinking, like, how do you establish yourself to actually be someone that someone cares about?
Well, the thing is, so one thing that really resonated, like the thing that immediately jumped out about the post, was that like he asked, like, how do you change yourself to make it to where people want to spend time with you or something like that, like something along those lines, right?
Yeah.
And like that I have had to unpack in the past 6 years of therapy, bro. Like, I have had to nail that on that. Like, I've had to beat that into submission because I've had the same exact thing, especially in the context of like romantic relationships.
Sure.
So like, I've always, like, up until very recently, pretty much, like like I would just be so desperate to be like, please, like, what can I do? What can I change about myself to make me more appealing to you so that you don't abandon me or something, you know? Like, I'm constantly trying to like reinvent myself or like fit myself into like some chameleon mold so that it's like I can make the other people comfortable enough with me so that they don't want to like leave me or something, you know?
Yeah.
And that is infertile soil for relationships, my friends.
There you go.
That is a very poor place to start. It's a non-starter because you're going to be miserable and you're giving yourself, or you're giving the people that you're trying to like impress or the people that you want to have relationships with, you're giving them like a projection of yourself that you think that they're going to like, but that's not you. So it's
unmaintainable,
a unproductive relationship.
It's unmaintainable. It's false, and it does not give you happiness. And like, I'm very glad that somebody else said it, because that's specifically what I was going to say, was that if you can't love yourself, okay, it's the greatest words ever said by RuPaul themselves, let's say, is
himself.
Herself. I
So-
don't
I
know.
think RuPaul
Themselves-
is like either way. Like
I
RuPaul
think
is like call me
because
whatever you want.
themselves is gender neutral, and like you can't fuck that up ever. Themselves.
Than themselves.
Okay.
If you can't love yourself, who else is gonna love you? It's that like
Yep.
we're and you're a weirdo. We're all weirdos. Totally fine. And that's the one big thing I found is that listen, embrace your weird, knowing that hey, I'm not an unnormal person. We're all weirdos to some degree or another, right?
You know what? You are you,
Yeah.
man. You are you, and there is one of you, and there's
Okay.
an expiration date on you, bro.
Here's the thing. I was told that growing up a lot. Just be yourself. People will come to you, and like what that's meant to convey is that trying to be, like Caleb said, trying to be not yourself is untenable and will eventually collapse. But at the same time, you still have to be like worth being around, and
Okay.
like
But-
releasing all the weird at once will like it's like you will turn some people off. That's just how it is. But like
I mean, there's
to the point where if you're just a boring person and you don't really have anything to offer, otherwise people aren't going to
Right.
bother checking up on you or
Okay.
hanging out with
I will go one further is
you, okay?
changing yourself to become a better person or someone that you like being
Yeah.
is not the same as presenting a false personality to certain people. Like there's one personality that you may have for work. Totally fine.
Yeah.
There's one personality that you may have when you're trying to lay pipe. Totally fine, right? Another one when you're dealing with family, right? Like that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. The idea is that the common, and like I've tried to make this into a joke, and all it does is get a lot of people really angry. Is I say, listen, if you haven't found a lasting, stable relationship, and I'll make eye contact with people who are around my age, and I'm like, you should know that is your fault. No one loves you because of you. And they go, fuck you, man. And I go, oh, listen. So you're not listening. If people don't want to be around you, then it's not that you're unloved. It's you're not encouraging that loving environment, right? And that may be that you're not loving yourself either, right? Because when you're negative for everything, and it's toxic and it burns your life. And that's
There are definitely like, me being a TCG person, I have hung out with a lot of neckbeards, and a lot of them fall into this trap. Like I'm halfway there. I am the anamorph between like normal person and neckbeard. I'm the middle part.
Listen, you're way, way better than half. Like you're like the top 80% of that community.
Okay. Well, anyway, so it's this thing where they're just like I don't know why no one likes to hang out with me. I can't get a girlfriend. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, take a shower. I know that sounds like very small. Take a shower. It does a lot. Clears your brain. Makes it so people want to sit near you. All that good stuff. But also, it's important to like try and meet people halfway where they are in terms of like checking in on people. Like a lot of the reason that I am able to like have friends and keep a girlfriend is because I will ask people about themselves, and that took me a long ass time to learn that lesson. Actually, the person who was in charge of the person who did the Exes tirade, also on this YouTube channel, was that same person who taught me that lesson when we were together. Was like you expect everyone to be asking about you all the time, and you never ask about them. You never try to find out about them and ask them questions. And in the end, that's what makes you friends in this world, is being like, so tell me about that. Tell me about your family. Tell me about your friends. Like, what happened this weekend?
There is obviously like a whole Hermione satchel of nuance to this, like whole
Definitely.
like.
Yeah, it sounds contradictory,
but like essentially,
it's a great analogy.
Self-love begets love. Like self-love begets like your whole happiness as a human being. Like
I've found in my experience, the best place to start with that. And Atlas, like you said about meeting things halfway, I would go one step further, is that when someone is like, I don't know why people don't like me, I say, okay, what do you like about yourself the most?
Good one. Very good one.
Just
Yeah.
one one attribute that you love the most about only you. Because interestingly enough, we were talking about friends that I've had since a kid. The one friend that I don't really talk to, we're still Facebook friends, but we don't really talk. He was like, you changed my life. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, you told me. And this was like when we were maybe 12 or 13 years old, because we had found a source for porno mags. It was very, very lucrative. But anyways, so we were talking about this. Yeah, it was great. But like, there was no internet, man. Like there was the library, and that's it. So, but the whole thing was that it's like there at that time there was 6 billion people. So it's like there's 6 billion people in this world, and you're gonna tell me there's not one person that isn't gonna love you like more than anyone else? Just one out of 6 billion. And he just stood there going, huh? Oh, like it's that simple. Like, and that's why it's like if sometimes that 1 out of 6 billion will start off as just being you loving yourself. It's that simple. So if you can say, you know what, I'm the best at this one specific thing, that could be shuffling cards, man. That's like I'm the guy that everyone wants to shuffle their deck. You know why? Because I do it great. You've just created, like, you have something of worth, of value, right? And it goes so far as to doing so. Mr. Male 55, hey guy, I get it, but look at yourself first. What do you love about you, and then promote that.
And don't forget, no one wipes your ass as good as you do.
Yeah. Wait. Pull up the thing again. There was one line I wanted to. We have a brief chat. They say it's great to hear from me, and then nothing until I do it again. So I'm wondering if it's a thing where if he's checking in on the person and he's like, so have you missed me? Like, I can't tell if it's that or if he's literally doing, so how are you? How are you? Blah, blah, blah. And then like just also, not getting anything in return,
Well, if you call people to let them know how you're doing, they won't call you because you've already done it. You've already done the job. Now, also, you're not a good person. But so when you call somebody, ask them about them. Don't talk about yourself. Like, that's one of the biggest things, learning how to be thought of nicely to people is tell me what you do. And then be knowledgeable about it and say, oh, how does that work with it? Like, ask questions, learn something. If you say, well, I don't really care about what they do, then why should they care about what you do? Right? Knowledge is free and only stands to make you better.
I'll be honest, it's a thing that I constantly have to fight against, the narcissistic part of me and the empathetic part of me. That, like,
sure. And
especially on this show where I'm like, must let other people talk, don't monopolize the whole thing.
Welcome to my
met
life,
me,
bro.
I've fallen prey to, like, some episodes I'm better at it than others, and like,
have you seen my picture right here? It's like in your face.
Like, I can't even tell what that is. That somebody giving someone else a set of keys? What is that?
Yes, that's right. Home ownership. Suck it.
Wait, that's what that means? You're just like shoving it in our face that you're a property owner?
This happens when you own property. Someone literally hands you the keys to your house, and you're like, wow. And I'll tell you,
little baby boys, I own property.
You know what the worst part is? When I got my apartment, my landlady was like, here's the keys. Make a copy and then give these back to me.
Yeah.
I had to go make my own keys.
Which, let's be honest, is I get it, because she's like, I don't give a shit about you. Like, as far as she's concerned, you're going to strip the walls and steal the copper, right? So that's, whereas home ownership, they're like, hey, now this is your problem and no one else has keys to it. And you're like, oh, thanks. In the same sense, your own personal standards, that's it. You are responsible for you being likable. Start there. Like yourself, and everything else falls into place. Yeah. Anyways, this has been an opinion from Generation Dan. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below. Leave a like. What was the other thing? Oh, if you have a thing you want us to comment on, put the story in the comments. We'll be glad to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
thanks, everyone.
email us there, and we'll do something about it. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.